with our third episode of webinar. আর আজকে আমাদের কাছ সঙ্গে রয়েছেন শুভ্রশঙ্কর মুখার্জি। শুভ্রশঙ্কর মুখার্জি is a very eminent person এই বাংলাতে, এবং he is an HR professional with over 12 years of experience across HR functions. ওনার last designation ছিল associate vice president when he was working with Aviva Life Insurance Company India Limited. ওনার স্কিল এরিয়াস বেসিক্যালি যে এরিয়াতে উনি কাজ করেন হচ্ছে ট্যালেন্ট অ্যাকুইজিশন, এইচআর অপারেশনস, টিম ম্যানেজমেন্ট, এইচআর প্রজেক্টস, এইচআর কমপ্লায়েন্সেস, অ্যানালিটিক্যাল এবিলিটি এবং বিজনেস পার্টনারিং। এছাড়াও ওনার আরো বেশি অনেক কিছু গুণ রয়েছে, যেটা হচ্ছে ওনার কোয়েস্ট ফর লার্নিং। উনি পিএইচডি করছেন, he's pursuing his PhD and in cross-functional field of organizational behavior and religious studies, এবং ইনি continuously প্রোগ্রামও করতে থাকেন। তো আজকে today he is going to speak on a subject which is developing agility in the new normal and beyond time. তো আমরা সবাই শুনি। Subhro Mukherjee, welcome to you in this webinar, this series of webinar, and you'll be having a lovely audience. বাংলাটা মাঝে মাঝে বললে খুব ভালো লাগবে, কারণ আপনিও যে ভাষায় কথা বলেন এদেশের লোকেরাও সেই ভাষায় কথা বলে। তো আমরা যদি মাঝে মধ্যে এই ভাষাগুলো নিয়ে কথা বলি, তাহলে obviously you will strike the balance much better. So handing over to you, the session is yours. Subhro, session is yours.
Thank you so much, Dutta. Shubho Sondha and good evening, Shabaike. A very warm good evening to all audiences. Epar Bangla, Opar Bangla, Bharat, Bangladesh, এই দুই দেশেরই যত দর্শক আছেন তাদের সবাইকে শুভ সন্ধ্যা। As Dutta was saying that I am an HR professional, and yes, I do love the academic area, and I want to learn. আজকের যে topic এই webinare, it is something to do with this this pandemic time, and we hear a new term. We are hearing, all of us are hearing a new term called new normal. So আমরা দেখবো এই new normal জিনিসটা কি, and everyone is a little stressed about the fact that what is going to happen, what am I going to do, and what is this new normal. Pandemic has changed the entire approach across the globe, how we work, how we think, how we perform. So in these times, new normal and beyond, when this new normal will settle down beyond that time also, what do we need to do in order to stay here, stay in the game, and perform, and in order to make that make that change, we need to have some agility. So সেই agility-টা কি করে develop করা যায়, developing agility in the new normal and beyond, that is today's topic of this webinar. I hope you'll have a good time, and in case you have any questions, there's a slot for that, and we can do that interaction and address your questions. I will try to address your questions to the best of my ability. So we are starting with a quotation by an American poet called Maya Angelou. She said that if you are always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. So we always need to push our barriers and do something beyond what we think is normal, what we think we do it every day, and there's nothing wrong about it. And once we go beyond that normal, amazing things happen, and we also know that we can do this as well. Another quotation I would like to start by Martin Luther King. He had said, that Martin Luther King Jr. He had said that if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving. You know, in the Upanishads and in the holy scriptures of the ancient scriptures of India, there is a word called choroibeti, which means keep moving, egiye chalo. So I think Martin Luther King Jr. also said something very similar. Now, coming to the most important phrase of today's webinar, new normal. What exactly is this new normal? Let's figure out, because this is a term that we keep on hearing. আমাকে অনেকেই জিজ্ঞাসা করেছেন, বয়স্ক মানুষ, আমার আমার পুত্র আমায় জিজ্ঞাসা করেছেন, আমার পুত্র 9 বছর বয়স, আমি জিজ্ঞাসা করেছে যে নিউ নর্মাল জিনিসটা কি, মানে হঠাৎ করে সব চারিদিকে everyone is talking about new normal. So let's see what is new normal. If we go to the net and if we search, আমরা একটা ভীষণ structural definition পাই of the word new normal, which basically is that the current prevailing situation, when it has emerged recently, differs dramatically from the previous one and is expected to remain. In other words, that this new normal has happened because of the pandemic, which is there across the globe. So it has emerged recently, and it is a current prevailing situation. Current prevailing situation, which right now is normal, but was not considered to be normal maybe 6 months back or before the pre-pandemic situation. Like, let's say, for example, we are doing a lot of webinar. A lot of people are working from home. Schools and colleges, students are learning things online. So this is the current prevailing situation, which has emerged recently, and it differs dramatically, right? Because we're not going outside, we're doing everything online. Internet is the new normal, the new platform, and it is expected to remain at least for some time, because we don't know when this pandemic is going to end, how it is going to do. So that's the definition of new normal. যে আমরা নতুন ভাবে যে জিনিসটা করছি, যেটা এখনই এটাই নরমাল, ওয়েবিনার করাটা এখন নরমাল হয়ে গেছে। আমরা before this, we would have probably done a physical conference where probably the speaker would have been physically present in front of an audience. Right now we're doing it online. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and this is normal. This is considered to be normal, and since this is new, this is what we call new normal. Now, despite of this, there's a lot of questions that comes to one's mind. অনেকগুলো প্রশ্ন আসে, দেখা যাক সেগুলো কি, why this new normal, কেন হঠাৎ করে এই নিউ নরমালটার কি দরকার আছে, what is its impact, what impact does this new normal have on my life, why, we're talking about developing agility in the new normal. So why agility is required, right? And then, okay, I understand agility is required, maybe to adjust and to adapt, but then what agility is required? That's also a question that comes to one's mind. And then once you get, once there are so many questions and you're bombarded, another question that comes to our mind is, am I doomed? Because I'm not really accustomed to this. I had thought of something else. My skill sets are very different. So am I doomed? What do we do right now? Before all these questions are answered, let me just tell you one simple thing. Calm down. There is nothing drastically or devastatingly that's going to happen right now. Chinta korar kichu nei. It is a matter of mindset. It is a matter of handling the situation. And how to handle the situation, we will it's a very broad spectrum. What we will discuss in today's webinar is how do we handle it, right? What do we handle is, it can be very specific from person to person, from skills to skills. But then what do we do about it? How do we approach it? What is the mindset that we should look at in order to handle this situation? Now, before I go down, I just want to tell you something that we will be talking about the mindset right now, because skills will differ from person to person, and I will come to it a little later. Now, when you have all these questions and uncertainties, and then you see so many things, in social media, print media, visual media, people talking, uh, you know, we don't go out of our house. We are in a lockdown situation. We can't move normally. We're forced to do certain things which we might not like. We get depressed, and then with depression, a lot of questions, a lot of things, it comes to our mind. Let's see, what are they? Now what? Okay, now we're in a lockdown. The pandemic has come. Now what? Ebar ki? Oh, this sucks. This absolutely sucks. And মানুষ যখন stressed হয়ে যায়, when a person is stressed, that's the first frustration thing that comes to your hand. Oh, this is so frustrating. Okay, these all lead to stress, and this also are, they are a result of a lot of stress. Temper flares. We lose our temper, we lose our patience, and আমরা ছোট ছোট কথাতে রেগে যাই। এই জিনিসটা হয়, স্ট্রেস থেকে হয়। গ্লোরি ফেডস। আমরা প্রত্যেকেই এই, আমি ধরে নিচ্ছি, যদি মার্চ মাস থেকে প্যান্ডেমিকটা ব্রেক ইন করে থাকে, ভারতবর্ষের it was end March. So till March, we, all of us have led a normal life, and we have had our share of success. We had a share of glory. But then when you're confined, when you're not, when you're forced not to behave and live your life the way you have lived or you want to live, all the glories, all the success factors, the success stories that you had in your past, it starts fading. With stress, your confidence also comes down, and as they say, you start seeing no light at the end of the tunnel. It becomes very, very depressing. It becomes very, very stressful. And then, ঘুরে ফিরে, one question always comes to our mind, is that I'm doomed, or am I doomed? Either you think that, oh, I am doomed, or then you start doubting, and you ask questions that, am I doomed? Is there something to worry? What happens now? Now, let me tell you something. You can't think or do the same thing again and again and expect different results. If there is a situation, you are in a lockdown, there is a virus that's there, present in this planet at this point of time. Yes, people are working on it. We all are working on it. We all are trying to be cautious. We all are trying to be safe. But the point is, the questions that you saw, in the previous slide, by thinking something depressing or doing some irrational behavior again and again, you can't expect different results. If you constantly think, today you're thinking that, am I doomed? And you say that, no, I'm actually not doomed. I have a job, probably, or I am a student, so I'm not doomed. Tomorrow, if you think the same thing, it's not going to give you a different result, right? So again, you can't think or do the same thing again and again and expect different results. So let me tell you something about stress. There's a very famous model called the Yerkes-Dodson law of stress. Two scientists called Yerkes and Dodson. They made this graph, and stress is plotted against performance. So what basically this law states that, for performance, some amount of stress is important. So let's say you want to start your class. Let's say you are a student, and your class starts. You have an online class, and it starts at 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock at a class শুরু করার জন্য you you will be under some sort of stress. যে আমাকে তাহলে হয়তো 8টা কি 7:30টার সময় to wake up. I need to have my breakfast. I probably need to have my bath. I need to switch on my computer. I need to log in. I need to ensure that everything is in place so that I can go ahead and join my class and take the class, be a part of this class from 9 o'clock. So there is a bit of stress that one goes through, maybe an hour or 2 hours before the class starts. Now, this is good stress because it helps you perform. It helps you perform what you're expected to perform. But then, good stress, it goes to a point which is called optimal stress, right? And the moment it crosses the optimal stress level, bad stress starts coming. You get into the zone of bad stress, as you can see in this diagram. And then, as higher the stress goes, performance starts to dip. That is very important. Stress to some extent is good, but excessive stress is not at all good for your performance. It pulls down your performance. So stress in excess has never helped anyone. Okay. Stress in the right amount, it really enhances the performance. It brings us, to the path of discipline. And you cannot perform if you do not have discipline. More the stress, less is the performance beyond the point. And it's very important that we should not allow stress to affect us beyond the point, because again, it has no value addition. You can't be stressed again and again and again, and the volume of stress rises, and you cannot, and with that situation you cannot expect that things will be different, or I'll perform more. It will actually bring down your performance. So then the question comes that so is stress abnormal? Is good to have stress, or I get stressed, I get worried about things. So is it okay? So let me tell you that it is perfectly normal to have stress and worry about something that matters to you. Yes, it is normal, but yes, within a particular range, nothing in excess. That is something that we need to keep in our head. Okay, because understand something, that with stress comes fear, and excessive fear is maladaptive. It has counter reactions. It brings you down. So what happens if you have excessive fear and excessive stress? It numbs your problem solving ability. We stop thinking clearly. That is a big problem that we have. Performance goes down. Your self trust, নিজের উপর যে বিশ্বাস যে আমি একটা কাজ করতে পারি বা আমার মধ্যে ক্ষমতাটা রয়েছে, সেটা it goes down. It lowers your self trust. And the most important thing that happens, I don't think it's coming, but let me read it out to you. It leads you to imagining a dangerous or unhappy future. আমরা এটাই ভাবি যে আরে কি হবে, আরে সব যদি শেষ হয়ে যায়, এইভাবে চারিদিকে ছড়িয়ে যাচ্ছে, এইভাবে চারিদিকে সবকিছু খারাপ হচ্ছে, ভালো খবর কিছু পাচ্ছি না, there's no good news. The point is, no one knows the future at the end of the day, right? You can only predict, but if you're too much stressed, then you can only imagine a dangerous or unhappy future, nothing more than that. So it basically means that we want to control the situation. We can't always control. Sometimes we need to trust, and you need to understand that the opposite of control is not chaos. If I don't have control over a particular thing, it does not mean that things are chaotic. Okay, everything is completely haywire. No, but we need to trust it. Ajge ei muhurte dariye, if everything is fine, then we need to have that trust in the situation. Do what we are expected to do. Because beyond that, everything is out of control of everyone. We all strive on our experience and our ability. Till now, the long that we have lived due to our ability. The question is today, which is very important, can we trust the future and our ability to solve future problems and challenges? This pandemic situation, due to which the new normal has happened, is just another problem. We, throughout our life, we have always, faced some problem or the other, and we have resolved it. We've come out of that situation, that challenge, through our ability. Now, this is something which is very unique, which probably we're facing for the first time in our life. In a similar situation, can we trust our ability to solve future problems and challenges? Because we have done that in the past as well. So we need to have that, that faith and that trust. Right now, where we're standing, it's a journey, right? We need to start, and we somewhere can see a finish. We somewhere believe, and we somewhere, want to see that, this entire pandemic situation will go off, and things will become normal. But then, if you're stressed and if you don't have the right mindset, then we will not be able to take decisions. It'll really hamper our decision making capacities. So remember, in times of crisis, more is lost by indecision than a wrong decision. As human beings, we always take decisions, and sometimes it's a right decision, sometimes it's a wrong decision. But it's important to take a decision, because it's absolutely okay to take a wrong decision, because we are all human beings. Manush matroi bhul hoy. It's not okay to repeat your mistake again and again. It's if you've done if you've taken a wrong decision, learn from it, acknowledge it, learn from it, and ensure that it does not happen again. But indecision, that's not going to help anyone at any given point of time. So we were talking about agility. So what is agility? We need to have a mindset for that. The agile mindset, remember, is more important than doing things in an agile way. You cannot do things with agility or in an agile way if you do not have an agile mindset. Let me just tell you something off this slide. In order to do any job, পৃথিবীতে যে কোনো কাজ করার জন্য, you need two things. One is called competency or skill set, and the other is called temperament or mindset. বাংলায় যাকে বলে দক্ষতা এবং মানসিকতা। পৃথিবীর যে কোনো কাজ আমি যদি খুব কমপ্লেক্স একটা কাজ ভাবি, যেমন ধরুন একটা স্যাটেলাইট তৈরি করা, launching a satellite into the orbit. It's a very, very complex, complicated. It requires a lot of skill set, a lot of knowledge. If I take that as one end of a particular type of job, in a range, and if I take something as simple as maybe slicing an onion, পেঁয়াজ কাটা, খানিকটা দক্ষতা লাগে. If I take this two things on two different ends of the range of doing a job, remember, এই দুটো ধরনের কাজ, দুটো এক্সট্রিম ধরনের কাজ করতে গেলে, you will require skill set and you will require mindset. Skill set is very easy to learn. It's very simple. If I teach you how to slice an onion very finely, how to finely chop an onion very, very finely, you will be able to do it. If I teach you, or if someone teaches me, or anyone in this world, how to make a satellite satellite, how to build a satellite, and how to launch it. People will learn. So learning a skill is important, but it does not define you, or it does not define the work that you want to do. What is important is whether you want to do that job or not, right? So, do you have the temperament? Do you have the mindset to do that particular work? For example, if I don't want to chop an onion, আমি যদি পেঁয়াজ খুব finely কাটতে না চাই, I might go through hours of training, but then I will never be able to do it because I don't want to do it. So, যেরকম লোকে বলে না যে একটা কাজ তখনই করা যায় যখন তুমি কাজটা করতে চাও, right? So you can only do a particular job when you really want to do that job, because there are n number of people in this earth who can finally chop an onion. There are n number of people in this earth who can launch a satellite. What makes a difference is whether you want to chop an onion or whether you want to launch a satellite. So mindset, temperament is way, way, way more important than skill set. So keeping this in mind, let's figure out what an agile mindset is. Let's see, what do we mean when we say agile mindset? Agile mindset bolte amra ki bujhi? Agile mindset is a set of attitudes that help people think in a very dynamic environment. আমরা আজকে যে এনভায়রনমেন্টে আছি এই মুহূর্তে, it's a very, very dynamic. What do I mean by dynamic? আমরা কেউ জানি না কি ঘটতে চলেছে. Everything is changing very rapidly, very fast. There is no pattern. There is, nothing can be predicted. So in such an environment, there are certain set of attitudes, which help you think properly. If you have this set of attitudes, then you actually have an agile mindset. It's that temperament, if you can imbibe these attitudes. So let's see what these attitudes are. So if you want to have an agile mindset, then you need to first have the attitude of respect. You need to respect things. You need to respect views. You need to respect what is happening. You need to be open. You need to do everything and anything in collaboration. It's not that, whatever I think is correct. Because I've done things in a particular manner, what you are saying, I don't agree with you. I will do it in my way. That's not agility. That's not how you think, how you adapt, to a dynamic situation or to a dynamic environment. Coming back to what I just said, adaptability. You need to have the, attitude of adaptability, to adapt in a new environment, in a changing environment. And you can only adapt if you are open to a constant change. A dynamic environment is an environment where things are changing constantly, right? So it's important that you are open to that constant change. And whatever you do, whether it's right or wrong, you need to have a very deep sense of ownership. It's okay to make a mistake, as I said, right? But it's not okay to repeat it. You own it. You can only learn if you've owned up a mistake. If you run away from it, you'll never learn. I had heard someone saying very interestingly to me that what do you think is the first step of treating a disease? So generally people say that, of course, you call a doctor, or you do this, you do that, you do a test, you try reading a symptom, etc., etc. But then the person told me, no, the first step of treating a disease is to acknowledge that there is a disease. So you need to acknowledge that, yes, there is something which I own. So similarly, you need to acknowledge your decisions, your wrong decisions, your right decisions. You need to first, acknowledge them. And then if you acknowledge it, then it is yours. Then only you'll adapt. Then only you'll collaborate. Then only you'll respect. So that's what, the attitudes the set of attitudes that an agile mindset, has. Agile mindset also focuses on these few things. It focuses on delivering values in the terms of the work that you do, values in the term of value system. It's very, very important that you stick to your value. Constant improvement. আচ্ছা আমি এটা করলাম, আচ্ছা এটা ক্লিক করেছে, can I do it a little better? That also involves a lot of agility. That is the agility that if you have that, then only you'll have the agility. And continuous learning. Dynamic environment, things are changing every moment very fast. Agility can only be achieved, I can only be agile if I'm learning continuously. So I would also want to discuss this. I was having a lot of requests that agility required in the new normal and beyond. The discussion I was requested to have it on the following aspects: that what is the agility that is required by students, what agility, since I'm an HR professional myself, আমি নিজে যেহেতু HR এ কাজ করেছি এবং আমি একজন HR professional আজও। So what happens to যারা চাকরি করছে professionals, এই সিচুয়েশনে দাঁড়িয়ে কিছু অনেক লোকেরই চাকরি চলে গেছে, আবার কিছু লোকের চাকরি আছে। So professionals with a job and professionals without a job, তাদের কি ধরনের agility দরকার in new normal? So I was requested to also talk on these lines, keeping these sets of people in mind. So let's first start with students. যারা ছাত্র, তাদের obviously তারা পড়াশোনা করছে, তারা বাড়ির বাইরে যেতে পারছে না, এবং তারা পড়াশোনাটা স্কুল, কলেজ, ইউনিভার্সিটি এসব জায়গায় গিয়ে পড়তে পারছে না। So the new normal is that they're starting from home, right? So what is the agility that is required? What is the mindset that is required? The first thing, the first mindset, very important, is that you should continue to study. পড়াশোনা করছিলে পড়াশোনা কর, এটা খুব ইম্পর্টেন্ট. It is very, very important to continue with your study. The new thing, the new agility that is there is learn to adapt to new techniques of learning. In India, I can tell you, in West Bengal at least, I know that a lot of students are, in fact everyone, they are learning through laptop, through tablets, iPads, and also mobile phones. So it's a technique, right? I mean, you are habituated to sit in a classroom amongst 30-40 students. There's a teacher who comes in each period and teaches you, and that the dynamics is very, very different, right? You have your friends to talk to, বন্ধুরা আছে, বদমাইশি করছে, তুমিও একটু দুষ্টুমি করছো, একটু কিছু লিখছি, কারোর সাথে কথা বলছি, এটা সেটা হয় না এখানে। একটা স্ক্রিনের মধ্যে, সেটা বড় হোক ছোট হোক, I am seeing my teacher, I'm seeing 10 or 15 other students on the screen. Some of them have their video muted, some of them have their audio muted. It's a very, very new platform, and the way I'm learning, that the technique is also very new. So learn to adapt, learn to learn in that new technique. It's very, very important. People are, some students are also giving exams, tests, evaluation is happening online. It's again a new technique in which you are learning, right? So it's very important that we learn to adapt to these new techniques. Honestly, আমার মনে হয়, as far as students are concerned, nothing has really changed, right? In the sense that পড়াশোনা হচ্ছে, schools are on, colleges are on, teaching is on, everything is on, and it's just that the platform has changed, right? So skill wise, I don't think there is much to learn. Will wise, temperament wise, mindset wise, there is lot to adapt to. Again, temperament, right? It's no rocket science, to learn through a web platform, The point is you can only learn through this platform, the new platform, in the new normal. If you want to learn, so do you want to learn? আমার যদি শেখার ইচ্ছে থাকে আমি তাহলে যে কোনো প্ল্যাটফর্মেই শিখতে পারবো। That is the truth. And very importantly, students এর মধ্যে, ছাত্রদের মধ্যে, because they are young, generally they're very impatient. বড়রা impatient হয়. It's not that only students are impatient. We all are impatient because that's also something that comes out of stress. So it's very important to have patience because this is not going to, this is going to stay for some time, but this is not going to stay forever, right? So have patience, see how things change, see how things evolve, and then learn and adapt. That's the agility that I think is required for a student in this new normal. Now let's come to the most important segment of people. People who have lost their jobs. Yes, it's very very unfortunate that a lot of professionals have lost their job. They've lost their employment, and then they're all scared. That, or even they're having a job, they're also scared that will I lose my job? Because there's so much of negative news. There's so much of economic meltdown that is happening because this entire pandemic has impacted our economy, the global economy, very very negative. চারিদিকে মানে অর্থনৈতিক অবস্থাটা খুবই খুবই সংকটজনক, এটা নিয়ে কোনো ডাউট নেই। তো সেখানে অনেকেরই চাকরি চলে গেছে। So what do they do? How do they, what agility they should have, and what mindset they should have? I'm talking about the mindset as of now. Have patience. That's the first thing. If you think that are ki holo, impatient hoye to nothing is going to really change, right? So have patience because remember that this is not going to be like this forever. Things will change. It has to change. That's inevitable. It's not going to be like this forever. You will get a job sooner or later. You'll get a job. So have patience. Yes, it is very important to manage your expenses. To manage, because obviously inflow of fund has stopped, right? I think we all have a little bit of if you're responsible enough, we all have a little bit of savings. And they say that you save for your rainy days. ইংরেজিতে কথা আছে। আমার মনে হয় এইটাই তো rainy day. This is rainy days, right? So if you're responsible enough, you have saved a little bit. So you manage. It's okay to live out of your savings, because savings, investments, everything is done for these crisis periods only. So it's absolutely okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, keep looking for a job. Don't be frustrated. Things will open up sooner or later. You should not, by being frustrated, you should not lose an opportunity. There are websites, there are portals, there are avenues wherein you can look for a job. Keep looking for a job. If you don't get a job, don't get frustrated. Keep looking. Someday or the other, you're going to crack it for sure. Have faith in your abilities. If you are, let's say, if you're a 30-year-old person, or let's say if you're a person with 5 years of work experience, or 3 years of work experience, or 10 years of work experience, or 15 years of work experience, you have that work experience because you have certain abilities, right? সেই জন্যই এত বছর কাজ করেছো। সেটা 2 বছর হতে পারে, 5 বছর হতে পারে, 10 বছর হতে পারে। That's irrelevant. But what is relevant and what is a fact is that you have a set of skill set, you have a set of abilities, because of which you have had these years of experience. Have faith in them. কাজে লাগবে. You will get a job. Everyone will get a job. Things will fall into place. So don't worry at all. Yes, at the same point of time, also learn some new skills. Be open to change. For example, let's say a person who is from a sales background. Okay, he or she can learn to give a training, or the other way around. A person who's done training, sales training, sales trainer chilo. Why that person cannot come to sales? In this dynamic situation, again, it is not a matter of skill, it's a matter of will. Skill ta khub shohoj. Sales সেই করতে পারে, আমি সেলসের এক্সাম্পল নিয়েছি, a person can only do sales or any job if that person wants to do that job. I can only do sales if I want to do sales. If I don't want to do sales, I might have all the skill sets required to do sales, but then I'll never be able to do sales because I don't want to do sales. আর আমার মধ্যে যদি স্কিল সেট না থাকে, আর আমি যদি চাই যে আমি সেলস করবো, বিকাম গুড সেলস পারসন, স্কিল সেটস অটোমেটিকলি চলে আসবে। But if I have it in me, if I have the mindset, I can always do it. So we need to be very adaptive, very open in learning new skills, and so, hence being open to change. It is very important to stay happy. We keep on looking at news. We keep on looking at every day. So many infections, so many deaths, etc. Yes, there's nothing that you can do about it. You have to be cautious, but don't be depressed. Stay happy. You might have lost your job, but it's okay. There's nothing that you can do much about it. It has happened, right? Keep looking for a job. Have patience, but at the same point in time, be happy. Be happy, because if you are happy, then your stress level will come down, right? And then the right mindset will happen. And remember, everyone, that this is not the end of the world. The world has not come to an end. The world is not coming to an end. It is just a phase. It will change. It is not going to be like this forever. এই জিনিসটা একদম একদম মাথায় রাখতে হবে, তাহলেই সমস্যার সমাধান। So now let's come to people who are still in their jobs. I meet a lot of people. I hear a lot of people. People call me. I call people and then say, "Boss, I don't know আর কতদিন চাকরি থাকবে. I might just lose my job. Things are very bad in my office. I don't know when this is the last month where I will get my salary or not, etc. To all these people, my advice, is that stop worrying. Live in the present. You can't do much about the future. Live in the present. Stop worrying. Be happy with what you have. You still have a job. There are a lot of people who doesn't have a job, right? There are a lot of people who have got salary cuts. A lot of people, just সবচেয়ে বড় কথা job নেই, এর থেকে আর কি হতে পারে, right? Third point, which is not coming up in your screen properly, is that stop cribbing. এই ঘ্যান করে কিন্তু কোনো লাভ হবে না। সবসময় যদি খুব নেগেটিভ হই, if I start cribbing always, then it's not going to again change the situation. Again, going back, by doing and thinking the same thing again and again is not going to change the situation. It's not going to make things happen, and it's not going to give me different results, right? So stop cribbing. It's important. Learn new things. Be adaptive. That's the agility that you should keep in mind. That I don't know. If I'm doing a job, okay. Let me give you an example. I think the correct example that's coming to my mind right now is teachers. Teachers who are still in the job, they're still teaching, right? They had to learn new things to impart their teachings, to take their classes online. A lot of them had never used Zoom, never used Google Meet, never done a video conferencing, never done a video call ever, professionally. Personally, WhatsApp video call করছে হয়তো, professionally কোনো video meeting করেনি কোনোদিন, and then they've learned how to take classes, how to teach the subject to 40 students, over a Zoom or a Google Meet, etc. So learn new things. That's important. Stay positive, and don't worry or think about salary cuts. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. It's fine. Nothing is going to really impact. It's okay if salary cuts happen. Everyone is managing expenses. Employers will also manage expense. You can't do much about it. So keep that in mind, that it's okay. Stay positive. You still have a job, right? Coming back to agility, remember, so what we are seeing right now here is a Formula One racing car. Okay, if you ever see a Formula One, race, you'll see that there's something that happens called a pit stop, wherein within a race, a car goes, it goes off the track, it parks itself, and components of the car changes. Tire পাল্টে দিল, brake পাল্টে দিল, আর এটা এত পাল্টাতে থাকে, only 10% of a Formula One car remains the same at the end of the season. if this image, if you're seeing these, the components that you're seeing in this image, and if this is in the beginning of of a particular racing season, by the end of the season, only 10% of the original components which you can see in this vehicle will remain. Every 90% will change. New components will come. Sorry. So that adaptability, that agility, that openness to change. That's why Formula One cars perform so well, right? A new improved component is added every 15 minutes during a racing season. On an average, every 15 minutes, a new component is added. There's nothing that changes in the life or in the performance of a Formula One car because of this constant change. It only enhances its performance. It ensures that this particular car performs and gets driven at the highest speed. So it's important to change. Now, a খুব পুরনো African proverb আছে. If you want to go fast, go alone. But আজকের দিনে দাঁড়িয়ে, in this present situation, the idea is not to go fast. The idea is to go far, right? We need to hang on. So it says, if you want to go far, go together, collaborate, learn, respect values, and then only we can go far if we do it together. It's a very, very old African proverb, যেটা আমরা হয়তো অনেকেই জানি। আমার মনে হয় বাংলাদেশ এবং ইন্ডিয়া, I think, connects very well over cricket. It's a very, very popular game in both the countries. That's why I thought of giving this analogy. যে এখন সিচুয়েশনটা হচ্ছে যে there's a field set, as you can see in the image. Everyone is trying to make you out in this entire pandemic situation, virus all over, infection all over. But don't get out. Hold on to your wicket. If you hold on to your wicket, runs will surely come. So have patience. You might not be a very defensive player, but then learn to defend. যেমন এই পিকচার আমরা দেখতে পাচ্ছি, ইমেজটাতে, learn to defend, learn to block. It is not always যে চার মারতে হবে, চার মারলেই আমি খুব ভালো ব্যাটসম্যান. That's not always true, right? So hold on to your wicket. Don't get out. Because if you're out, then you have lost your opportunity. Don't get out. Trust me, runs will surely come. That's what it is. Thank you so much. It was great taking this webinar, and I'll hand it over to Dutta. In case there is any questions, if I can get that, and I'll try to answer to the best of my ability.
Yeah, thank you, Subhro. It was a nice session, very, very nice, revealing facts, and a lot of unknown things which came into being. And we'll wait for the questions to come in. If anyone is having any questions, they can type it out in the chat box, or they can ask a question through the Facebook, queries. Rana, do you have any questions? Any questions till now? Okay, so till now there is no question. So if you'd like to wind it up, maybe as and when the question is being received, it will be forwarded to you, and you can answer it.
I will try to answer that to the best of my ability. I would like to thank everyone who's attended this webinar through Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live, and also through the portal of LCBD. It was a pleasure and an honor to do this. LCBS, I'm so sorry. LCBS, I'm so sorry. It was a pleasure and an honor being a part of this webinar, and I look forward to being a part of such webinars in future as well. I would also like to thank Mr. Dutta for giving me this opportunity, and all the best. Stay safe. Don't worry. Stay safe.
Thank you, Subhro. Thank you, LCBS, also for organizing this wonderful webinar sessions, a series of webinar sessions. And we are going to again come back on 26th with our next webinar. So please do log in and send in your feedback, that how are you liking this? What are the type of subjects you would like to hear in future? And we'll be very happy to organize this seminar. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.